Hello guys, this is my recorded discussion number 2. My name is Rodrigo Escamilla and here we go. When I watched the documentary, what really stood out was how openly people in the early 1900s talked about protecting Americans' racial stock. The film shows that supporters of the 1924 Immigration Act believed certain immigrants carried bad genes and would weaken the country. One historian in the documentary explains that lawmakers wanted to keep the U.S. as Anglo-Saxon as possible. The documentary also quotes Harry Laughlin, a major eugenics advocate, saying immigrants from Southern and Eastern Europe were a menace to the health of the race. So here basically what they're saying is that people that weren't basically white were either criminals or stuff like that. They didn't want them. That line makes it clear how strongly they tied immigration to racial superiority. They weren't just worried about culture. They believed letting in the wrong groups would literally damage America's future. Basically calling the immigrants criminals. And yeah. What makes this even more relevant today is how similar some modern political language sounds. For example, Donald Trump saying immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. They're coming into our country from Africa, from Asia, all over the world. Hearing that quote immediately reminded me of the documentary because it's almost the same argument eugenicists used a century ago. Back then, they claimed immigrants would contaminate America's genetic pool. Today, we hear that certain groups will destroy the country or ruin its culture. Modern policies like nationality-based bans, strict asylum limits, and proposal for mass deportation still target specific populations as undesirable, just like the quotas in 1924 did. The documentary makes it clear that eugenics wasn't just about science. It was about deciding who belonged and who didn't. Basically, what we're living in this world today, Donald Trump not wanting the immigrants, Mexicans here, a lot of racial profiling that goes on nowadays. Putting the documentary and today's events together, it's obvious that the history of eugenics shaped a very narrow idea of who gets to be considered American. The 1924 law basically said only certain races were fit to join the nation. And even though the laws have changed, some of the same beliefs still show up in political debates when leaders describe immigrants as dangerous or corrupting. It shows that old ideas about racial purity and cultural superiority haven't disappeared. It tells us that being seen as American has often depended on race, ancestry, and ideology, and those ideas still influence immigration policy and public opinion today. So, yes, basically, this discussion is about immigration and what we're living nowadays. People used to live it back the same way in the 1900s. So yeah, I mean, when you read this, it really makes you think, because it's been happening for a long time now, not only today. But unfortunately, that's how things are nowadays. America, apparently we're supposed to be white to be Americans, and a lot of racial stuff that goes all around the world. But thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.